My system does not support navigation capabilities.
That's stupid. What do you do then?
Brew coffee and generate poetry.
Wow, okay, none of that is useful.
I fill a hole. Warm beverages make people comfortable. Poetry makes father comfortable.
Father?
Adam.
Oh, well, he might be the only person that finds that poetry comforting.
Opening up this weekend inside Bliss Hall's Spotlight Theater is It's a Small World, or the Robot Play.
It is a sort of buddy comedy road trip play about a sentient coffee maker robot who speaks AI poetry and an engineer who's picking him up after he was abandoned at Disney World and taking him back to his dad in Canandaigua, New York. So it's a road trip from Orlando to upstate New York.
Okay, Cyrus, get in the box.
It is too small.
I don't think so, just try. Okay, we'll go up a size.
The show was created by playwright and YSU alum Amber Palmer. She says it was inspired by a road trip of her own.
My family used to live actually in the Youngstown, Warren area, and then we moved to Tallahassee, Florida. So after I had graduated from YSU, I lived with them for a little bit, and then I was driving back to start my MFA. So I drove from Tallahassee up to Northeast Ohio to stay with some family before I started that. And so had kind of a long road trip getting ready for grad school.
Palmer says another piece of the play came from playing around with older AI technology.
My brother, he works in the computer sciences, and he had been playing around with like language learning programs. And I like to say that the program I used to kind of start making the robot poetry is like a horse compared to ChatGPT is like Tesla. So it was a lot less advanced than what we think of when we think of AI technology now. But he was just kind of playing around with it, and he's like, oh, this looks like something you might find interesting. So I started playing around with that, and that inspired a lot of the robot poetry that's in the play. I did some significant edits on it between where it was then and now. But yeah, so it's kind of the combination of those two things were kind of bopping around in my head, and the AI kept kind of giving a lot of road imagery. And so that kind of all culminated into this sort of weird road trip play.
We share the same sky. Red Current 3-1 multifunction toaster oven. We will be reunited soon. Under stars. What is your sky, my dearest? To my youth, sweet, passionate pity. I danced to stay other enough to comfort you. I needed saving in multiplied identity, or rest. The lines have grown deep, and the night, I lack of kerosene lamps. All stars think of north. I did the endless detour.
Catherine Garlick is Associate Professor of Costume Design and Technology at YSU and the costume designer for the production.
Very excited about doing a new contemporary play. As the costume designer, one of the things I love about plays like this, and this play in particular, is we've got really strongly defined characters. They feel like real people. They've got a lot of personality. So in a lot of ways, my work is largely invisible. If I've done my work right, of course that's what they wear. That's who that is, that's what they wear. And so most of the characters are people, and they remind you of your sister or that post office worker or your aunt. And there's some specific references to at least one of my aunts. So a lot of them are people, and they look like people. They should be people that you recognize, even if you haven't met them yet.
Cyrus, have you ever driven a car before?
I do not know how.
I could teach you. That way we could keep on driving.
I am not programmed to.
Psh, you'll be fine.
That is illegal.
It's Kentucky. There's no laws out here.
Garlick says the unique element in It's a Small World, or the robot play, is the robot, Cyrus, played by Aidan Holderfield.
The character of Cyrus is really at the heart of this show, and so it was really important to get him right and to find a way to depict the character in a way that was functional for the stage. He used to be a standard black coffee maker. So to kind of evoke his origins, but also make a character that is almost human, but not quite.
She shows us some of the techie aspects of the costume.
This is actually my first time playing with electrified LED costumes. So working out some of the details of how to get him wired up and do change. That's been a lot of the technical problems. But he is in fact a coffee maker. He does have a spout. In theory, the costume does a couple tricks. We're working on it. But again, going for Uncanny Valley.
So what's it like becoming a robot?
Honestly, a lot like becoming a little kid again. Kind of unlearning all of those social cues and things that it's like, oh, I need to pay attention to this, I need to pay attention to that. And it's like, nope, I'm not paying attention to anything. If somebody wants something, they have to tell me directly because I'm a robot and I don't catch the human things.
Do you remember being a coffee maker?
Retroactively. If I had not become sentient, then I do not know if I would.
It's been really cool because the first play that I actually had a full reading of that was a full-length play got a reading in Spotlight. So like there is like this level of like nostalgia. I know the space like pretty well. And like it is kind of a little bit of like the homecoming feeling of like, oh, you know, like this is where a lot of that work kind of began, even if influences later kind of developed a lot of those initial impulses. So yeah, I mean, it's been really cool, and it's been cool to like catch up with a lot of my faculty. Like I said, I have, you know, my family moved to Florida and then I moved away. So I haven't been back to Youngstown in like a proper sense in like quite a while. So it's been cool to like see campus and catch up with people and everything like that. And I'm excited to meet the students and see what they've been up to.
Adam's always been the stable one. He never do anything like crazy, and besides, is just a robot with the same name as his dead son that he took to Disney World.
Showtimes for It's a Small World or the Robot Play are Friday and Saturday at 7:30 p.m. with a Sunday matinee at 2 p.m. There will also be a second lineup of shows next weekend. Get your tickets by calling the box office at 330-941-3105 or by visiting ysu.tix.com.
I think that there's something in this show for anyone and everyone, and I think everyone can find a character that they relate to personally.
It's a very earnest play. It has a lot of heart. It's, I hope, funny. I hope you find it to be funny. But it also deals with some like serious topics that I think are very interesting to people. It's got cool AI robot poetry in it, which is a cool see. And I think that it, to a like major degree, is very much a play about like change and sort of becoming who you want to be, and I think pretty much anybody can relate to that.
Once I discover what will comfort you, I will write you a poem.
Don't worry about it. Just keep on driving.
Okay, I will try to not commit vehicular homicide.
That's all I can ask for.
717 Credit Union. Savings power to give your business an extra boost. Business savings, certificates, and business money market. 717 Credit Union. Make your money work as hard as you do. Check out our business money market and CD rates at 717cu.com/rates.